One word. There is one word that I can use to describe not only the Galaxy S23, but also the S series as a whole, and that one word is redemption. Redemption, an act of redeeming or atoning for a fault or mistake, or the state of being redeemed. Now, redemption is a very powerful word that comes along whenever we face hardships in life, our peers are doubting us, and even when we've been screwing up things in the past. And the reason that I chose redemption to describe the Galaxy S23 is because it's a phone that has completely redeemed itself for the past mistake of the horrible Galaxy S22. The Galaxy S23 has a much better battery, it doesn't get extremely hot for no reason, the software doesn't mess up on me at random times, and it has the new Snapdragon Gen 8 2 chip that is much better and much more well fitting for a phone of this size. And you may be hearing this and thinking that the Galaxy S23 is perfect, but it's really not, and there are still some improvements and touch-ups that I want to see that can really take it over the edge. But besides that, it's an amazing phone that has completely redeemed the S series phones that are not named the Ultra. And I want to help you guys decide whether or not it's right for you. Now, in terms of design, there really isn't much that has changed since last year's S22, but one thing that you will notice is that the back camera is much more reminiscent of the S23 Ultra since Samsung has smoothed out the edges to give it a overall cleaner look. Besides that, you have the same recycled aluminum sides that create a glossy look, same hole punch camera in the front, same rounded frame that's easy to hold, and same frosted back that gives the whole S23 lineup a very clean, simple signature look. Another notable improvement is that the back and front of the S23 are Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which Samsung says can survive drops on concrete pavement, but unless you're Richie Rich, I definitely don't think that is worth testing out, but it's pretty nice to know. 3 months in, I still have yet to get any notable scratches on the front and back. There are times where I will rock my S23 out with no protection, but the majority of the time it's in the case, and I think that says a lot about its durability since my Pixel 7 Pro gets scratches even with the case on. The S23 Ultra is very comfortable to hold. It felt very comparable to the iPhone 14 since they are the exact same size with a rounded frame, resulting in me not dropping it a lot since I had the snug fit, and this was very fitting for someone like me who has pretty big hands. The S23 is also very comparable to the iPhone 14 in terms of weight. It weighs 168 grams, which is only 4 grams lighter than the 14, and I think that this really added to its comfort. I usually have my phone in my hands when I'm running, in the house, or at work, so it really helps to have a phone that didn't really weigh me down. Lastly, the colors on the S23 this year were out of this world. I have the lavender one, and every time one of my friends see it without a case, I always get compliments. The purple rails, camera, and back make it look even more beautiful and aesthetically pleasing. So now that we've gone over the back and sides of the S23, it's time to take a look at the front. It has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display that on paper might not get someone hyped, but exceeds expectations when used in real life. I love that Samsung matches the brightness of the S23 Ultra with the regular S23. Both are at 1750 nits peak, and I had no problem seeing anything outside, no matter how much the sun came out. Something else that I noticed was that the auto brightness worked very well. I usually adjust my brightness manually, but with the S23, I didn't really have to use it since it gave me that amazing accuracy throughout the day. Now, in terms of resolution and viewing experience, the S23 didn't hold up. The screen was very vibrant yet had a kick of realism. Gaming really brought out the colors, especially when I was playing something like Smashy Road or Monopoly. Watching content and movies on it was great as well. Dolby Atmos enhanced my experience since the speakers are top tier, but I really do wish that the S23 had better resolution. It only has a 1080p display, which is pretty underwhelming since this phone is well over $800. The 120Hz refresh rate was good. I feel like it felt even smoother since it was well integrated with One UI 5.1, making it flow very nice with the smooth and sharp animations that Samsung are generally known for. Now, the S23 has a bunch of screen real estate due to the hole punch camera being so small. I felt every bit of the 6.1-inch display since the bezels were basically non-existent. The display was flat, so there was no shortage, and I used swipe gestures, which creates even more space. Something else that's unfortunate about the S23's display is that it's not LTPO like the S23 Ultra, so it can only drop down to 48 Hz, and this comes with less power efficiency and can also get worse faster over time. And finally, the fingerprint sensor and facial recognition for the S23 worked very well. I mostly used the fingerprint scanner since it was lightning fast and I didn't have to pick up my phone to unlock it, but if you are someone who likes facial recognition, it also works very well and is comparable to iPhone's Face ID in terms of sharpness and accuracy. Now, moving on to the most important piece of hardware that controls the life of your phone, the Galaxy S23 has a 3900 mAh battery that can last you all day, depending on what type of user you are. Now, if you're the type of user that is on your phone all day, your eyes are literally glued to your screen, and you always get over 7 hours of on-screen time, this phone will definitely not last you all day. But if you are someone who is on your phone for a majority of the day, you use your phone moderately for social media, make a couple of calls, watch some YouTube videos, and get around 3 to 6 hours of screen time a day, this phone will certainly last you all day. And I usually get around 4 hours of screen time with mine, so I easily end my day with about 30% worth of battery, which is pretty great. I don't do too much, and I just use my phone like the average person would. Also, quick disclaimer for anyone who has questions, I have 5G on all the time. My always on display is always on. I use auto brightness, my phone is in light mode during the day, and I never use power saving mode, so you can get even better results if you are a power saver. Now, something that's disappointing for me when it comes to the S23's battery is that it only supports 25 watt quote unquote fast charging. Personally, this is unacceptable since the Ultra lineup has had 45 watt for years now, and the regular S series has not gotten bumped up once. My charging patterns are pretty simple. I mostly charge my phone overnight, and there's also times where I would forget to charge it at night, wake up, charge my S23 while I'm in the shower, and it would usually be around 80% by the time I got done. So if you are someone who wants a compact phone that can last you all day, the Galaxy S23 does fit the bill. Now, just like the S23 Ultra and the S23 Plus, the Galaxy S23 will come with the latest and greatest Snapdragon Gen 2 chip that is not only more powerful than last year's Gen 1 chip, but it will also be much less power hungry and built for better efficiency. And also, speaking of efficiency, the Gen 2 chip for the Galaxy S23 is custom made, meaning that Snapdragon was well aware of how the Galaxy S22 suffered from overheating, and based on my use over the past couple of months, the S23 has yet to overheat. On a day-to-day basis, I'm recording, playing games, scrolling through social media, and doing many other regular things on my phone, and no matter how long I've tested it, I didn't notice a single slowdown and was very impressed. Samsung is also using a new cooling system with vapor chamber cooling, so every single Galaxy S23 in and outside of America will be getting a Snapdragon chip. So finally, this is the end for that terrible Exynos chip. Now, the Galaxy S23 has a 50 megapixel main camera, along with a 10 megapixel telephoto and 12 megapixel selfie with a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and based on my usage over the past couple of months, I will say that the pictures still look really great. Now, starting with zoom modes, the S23 has a couple of different zoom modes, and of course the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you get closer, but I found all of the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed has gotten better, but there's still room for improvement. I decided to test this out by shooting a moving car, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars, but it still couldn't compare to my iPhone 14 or my Pixel 7. And now next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment that I will be starting with is daytime. Now, looking at the outside photos, the selfies were good, but still couldn't really capture my skin tone well. I think that as a person of color, they are very lackluster and also make me look lighter than I actually am. Also, the sharpness on my face could be too much sometimes when compared to the Google Pixel or the iPhone, where the sharpening really isn't overtaking the photo. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, and different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the S23 held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed since the sharpness did a lot better with the main camera. Now, in the night setting, I would pretty much say that everything looked good. The camera will automatically switch from night mode, and once I snap the shot, it will brighten up everything in the photo so that you can see very clearly. Again, it looked really good, and the only complaint that I still have is the shutter speed. Now, taking a look at inside photos, the S23 was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be very comparable to the outside pictures whenever the lighting was right. Also, whenever I took selfies at night, it didn't really look good because, again, it wanted to make me look lighter than I actually am, and the brightness didn't really correlate as well. And now when it comes to shooting video, the S23 is a really good phone that is able to capture quality shots. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, but I prefer to shoot my videos in 4K at 30 frames per second because not only does it look good in 4K, but the 30 frames makes it look very smooth, but not as smooth as 60 frames would. The video stabilization was really good. I shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld, and the movements will be very smooth, which was very impressive. So all in all, I would definitely say that the Galaxy S23 has a really good video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a really solid camera, it's definitely got you covered. And also, here are some extra videos that I was able to get. And alright you guys, that's my review on the Galaxy S23 after 3 months of use. It's an amazing phone that has completely redeemed itself from the past generation's mistakes. The only problem that I have with it is that it has a 1080p display, and because of this, I feel like the price should definitely go down, especially when you have phones like the Pixel 7 that are cheaper and damn near can compete with it at every level. But besides that, the Galaxy S23 is superb. It has an amazing display, a good but not great battery life, amazing software, and it's just an overall really good phone that I think many of you will like. And let me know down in the comments, do you think that the Galaxy S23 has the potential to be phone of the year? Let me know. And I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. Peace.